Romanian authorities carried out preventive evacuations in the village of Ploru in Tulcea County early Monday, November 17, after a drone attack on the Ukrainian port of Izmail ignited a liquefied petroleum gas vessel located close to the Romanian border, officials said. The fire, triggered during overnight strikes by Russian forces on targets near the Danube, prompted an immediate assessment by emergency services due to the proximity and potential risks to nearby communities. A serious danger arose on the border of Ukraine and Romania after a ship carrying about 4,000 tons of liquefied gas was attacked by a UAV on the Ukrainian bank of the Danube near the Romanian Ploru in Tulcea district. The General Inspectorate for Emergency Situations announced that local authorities, working with the Interior Ministry's specialized structures, ordered the temporary evacuation of residents and animals in areas closest to the possible blast zone. So far, 15 people have been evacuated from the village of Ploru and will be transported to Talcioy, where local authorities have prepared accommodation facilities for them, IGSU said on Monday morning. The measure will remain in place until the situation no longer poses any threat. The County Committee for Emergency Situations was activated to monitor developments and coordinate response efforts. The Ministry of Defense said its radar and surveillance systems detected and tracked airborne targets moving through Ukrainian airspace near Tulcea County during the overnight attack. At 2:30, authorities issued a RO alert warning to residents in the northern part of the county. The ministry noted, however, that no unauthorized entry into Romania's airspace was recorded. The Ministry of Defense forces will carry out inspections today in the areas where risks may arise as a result of last night's events. Allied structures are also being informed in real time about the situations along the border with Ukraine, reads the press release. The Romanian ministry also condemned the Russian strikes, calling them unjustified attacks on Ukrainian civilian infrastructure and a serious violation of international law. The Turkish government's General Directorate of Maritime Affairs reported that a vessel with 16 Turkish crew members on board was attacked in the Ukrainian port of Izmail and caught fire. Turkish authorities stated that the crew was safely evacuated, and there were no casualties. Firefighters arrived at the scene and extinguished the fire on board. The mayor of Talcioy, which includes the village of Ploru, and the prefect of Tulcea County visited the area. Authorities decided to evacuate the population, as requested by the Ukrainian side, given the risk of the liquefied gas shipment causing a devastating explosion on both banks of the Danube. According to local authorities, at least 3 people were killed and 10 more wounded in Russian attacks in Ukraine's Kharkiv region last night. At the same time, Russian forces also attacked the port city of Izmail de la Daneri, located near the river border with Romania. Aerial reconnaissance units of the National Guard of Ukraine's Lasers Group have detected and targeted the Russian occupying army's Buk M3 and OSA anti-aircraft missile systems in the occupied territory of Kherson region. During the night, munitions dropped from drones destroyed the Buk M3, valued at $40 to $50 million, and the OSA, valued at $10 million, by detonating them. Ukrainian forces have made gains near Kupiansk, advancing north of Pishcheny, located southeast of the city, according to the Institute for the Study of War, ISW. American analysts note that Ukrainian forces are holding their positions and achieving local successes in central Kupiansk and east of Petropavlivka, areas where Russian sources had previously claimed to have troops. At the same time, ISW does not confirm claims by Russian military bloggers about the supposed capture of Sobolivka or Russian advances east and south of Kupiansk, east of Kurylivka, or west of Pishcheny and near Kamianka. Russian presence in Kupiansk is shrinking, with fewer than 50 soldiers remaining in the city. They are cut off from each other and from the Russian forces due to disrupted logistics, said Viktor Trehubov, head of communications of the Joint Forces grouping. According to Trehubov, the situation has become more difficult for the enemy, as Russian forces now remain only in the northern parts of the city. Intercepts indicate that there are slightly fewer than 50 of them left. They are effectively isolated from one another and from their main forces because logistics have been very effectively disrupted. Despite attempts by the enemy to bring in reinforcements or send small groups into the town, these efforts are nearly impossible now due to the high activity of Ukrainian drones. He added that the situation in Kupiansk has shifted somewhat, becoming slightly more favorable for Ukraine. However, he stressed that the situation remains difficult. Trehubov also noted that, realizing their failure in the town, Russian forces have shifted their main efforts to areas east and south of Kupiansk. There, they are trying to eliminate the Ukrainian bridgehead on the left bank of the Oskil River. If they could achieve this, it would create such problems for the town that Ukrainian logistics there might not survive, and then holding the city would become very difficult, he said. But for now, according to Trehubov, these attempts have also failed. He added that Ukrainian forces see the shift in Russian efforts and are responding accordingly. According to several RBC Ukraine sources, there were previously around 70 Russian soldiers in Kupiansk. In September, Russian forces managed to break into the town by using a gas pipeline, sharply escalating the situation in this direction. Enemy sabotage groups entered Kupiansk from the north. Later, Ukrainian forces blew up the pipeline used by the Russian soldiers, forcing them to cross the Oskil River on rafts and boats. It was also reported that Ukrainian forces are preventing Russian troops from fortifying positions in the northern part of Kupiansk in the Kharkiv region. Despite the enemy's attempts to hold their positions and build defenses, Ukrainian units have been actively counterattacking in recent days and pushing the enemy back from the consolidated positions. According to the latest data from the General Staff, there were 172 combat engagements between Ukrainian defense forces and Russian troops over the past day.